ACM. I'm a proud dad. I'm really thankful for my son to step up like that.
Your name again?
I'm a family therapist, but I haven't practiced for 7 years, and I talked to my kids, and I said, if I do this environmental work, I'll probably make less money, and it's. But they said, no, let's do it, and it was their choice too, and I didn't expect him to be doing what he's doing. He travels a lot. He's just recently in Washington D.C., Arizona, San Diego, doing the same work. So I'm really proud of him. Yeah. I was in Paris too, and I got to talk to a lot of Indigenous people, and I was in Brazil and recently, and Panama, Cuba, Australia, and New Zealand. My son was there too, and it's the same thing everywhere. And the truth is, it's simple. That 1% that people talk about, that's the same 1% that own this oil. They don't pay taxes like we do. I pay 30 to 40% tax. They don't. Not only that, to date, the American government has given $1 trillion in subsidies to the fossil fuel companies. Canada gives 1.6 billion a year. And so not only are they not paying taxes, but they're getting subsidized. And the truth is, they're killing people. My son spoke about that, but yeah, we've been to the Alberta tar sands, and we firsthand seen stories of a lady who came when we went there last time, Jewel, and she told us her story. She said, my kids aren't getting to the hospital, getting treated, and she rolled up her sleeve, and she had cancerous blisters all over her whole body. And she goes, my kids are in the hospital, getting treated for cancer, and they're little, and she said she couldn't make it, but she came down and said, could you help us? Can you stop them? And remember, Joel, we said, damn right. We'll do whatever it takes. And I'm happy to say in British Columbia, despite the ugly statistics about my First Nation people, we're only 3% of Canada's population, but we're 40% of homeless. We're 40% of the jail population. We're 40% of school dropout. Negotiating with Kinder Morgan, One Nation in Canada was offered $1.6 billion to allow the pipeline to go through. And 1,000 people voted 100% consensus no. And that blows me away, because that money would help my people out of poverty. But here's the thing, and here's my problem when I went and spoke at the Kinder Morgan AGM a couple months ago. I told Richard Kinder himself, I said, we're going to stop you. And we're going to do what it takes to stop you. But in my mind, I was thinking, like the people in Canada, that 1,000 of them voted no to 1.6 billion. The reason why they do that is they have a spiritual connection. Like my son said a prayer, I have a spiritual connection to my son. He feeds my spirit. He makes me happy just being around him. And that feeds, and that's the same with our lands and our waters. And that's why you are here too, because the land feeds your spirit. There's a reciprocal ceremonial relationship with the lands and the waters. And I thought, geez, how in the heck am I going to explain that to Richard Kinder of Kinder Morgan? They don't get it. They don't get it. It's that 1% that is ruining the whole world. For doing the work that I do, 17 people got killed in Panama. 170 were injured. They scooped out their eyes with spoons and tortured them. When we're in Brazil, 2 buddies got killed just for speaking like I am. But it's the same companies, it's the same owners. Canada services $750 billion to $1 trillion industry annually. And we have to start telling these stories about the true facts, and that's what it is. It's that 1%. And they own the government. They own the media. We don't get to say our story, but it's the people power that are going to make the difference. When we started this, in Vancouver, we sent out 500 flyers and 10 people showed up about Kinder Morgan. That was 7 years ago. We just recently did a poll. 71% of the local residents in the area supported Tsleil-Waututh Nation, my nation, and soon Canada for allowing this pipeline to go through. 71%. And those are people that are educated on the true facts of what's going on. And that's what we got to do. That's a dubious task that we have to do. And we have to teach it to people that or even tell people that are disconnected themselves from their own children. Or that's that 1%, or they'd want to make better choices for their children. But, you know, it's hard when you think of those numbers, but what I'm happy to say is we're winning. In British Columbia, we won 170 legal cases. 170 legal cases around resource extraction. First Nations have won 170. That's 90%. And what I'm really happy to say is, I'm going to swear, sorry. Industry can't do shit in our country without talking to First Nations. And those same laws apply to everybody. Jewel knows about this, is an expert at this, that it's going to sift right across. We're making a Tsleil-Waututh alliance from Alaska all the way to California. That's what we're working on. The mayor of Vancouver, we're orchestrating this. In Seattle, in Portland, and I think Sacramento is the capital of California. In Victoria, then we're going to invite the other 3 nations that work with you guys in Washington State, Squamish, Musqueam, to Tsleil-Waututh. And then we're creating this alliance that Jewel's doing right now, the Energy East. That's what this poll's about. There's 13 pipelines coming out of the Alberta tar sands. Like my son said, they're moving the size of France or the size of Texas. They're crazy people. They're just nuts. And anyway, that's what this totem pole is for, is uniting people right across the country. When you gave us that totem pole, Jewel, 7.5 million people through media saw that. And we need more of that. We have to get on Facebook and social media and send it out. Because people need to know the true facts. You know, everyone's sacrificing to make it better. And we do have alternatives. Lummi Nation's admin buildings are geothermal energy. All their streetlights right through their whole reservation are solar panels. Same with my nation. We're doing the same thing. Our daycare, sure. We're setting an example. To Tsleil-Waututh Nation, we own the second best wind turbine company in Canada. We know that it employs people. We know that it makes money. We know that it's good for the economy. We see in Portugal and what they're doing. They charge 80% tax to those fossil fuel companies. Wow. They have no medical problems. Yeah. They have no education problems for their teachers. They don't have medical problems to hire nurses. And it's free. The medical's free there in that country. We have to do the same thing. Tax them. Tax them and use our voice and make sure that the government does that, because they won't unless we stand up and do something about it. Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to introduce my cousin. I just say we're cousins because we have the last name. Lucinda, she's local, and I'd like to really thank the local people here. The reason why we have a spiritual connection to the land and water, because you people have for thousands of years, and we're reaping the benefits of that reciprocal relationship. And so let's give a hand for Lucinda.